Trucking dreams, now schemes grow strong, plant seeds, hustle hard, no facade, we cream of the crop, take heed, fight the odds, build squad, shine bright, break free, in the ring, hear the ding, it's our time, savage spree. The savage room fears, we slave in hard teams, our hustle supreme, it's more than just dreams, rise up, break seas, got the fire and the means, in the savage room, we reign, no in-betweens. No fear, we steer, navigate rough seas. Mind sharp, play it smart, rule the streets with ease. Crowned in gold, feel the bold, we ignore the tease. Every step, feeling blessed, strength never cease. The savage room fears, we slay in our teams. Our hustle supreme, it's more than just dreams. Rise up, break seas, got the fire, the means. In the savage room, we reign, no in-betweens. Dance to the rhythm beat of our own drum. Success in our prism, courage out strum. World made doubt, but we welcome the scum. Savage room queens, we rise from the slum. Legends in our veins, goals never derange. Savage in our grace, fierceness unchained. Crowns on heads, stories remain. In the savage room, our power reclaimed. The savage room fears, we slay in our teams. Our hustle supreme, it's more than just dreams. Rise up, break seas, got the fire, the means. In the savage room, we reign, no in-betweens.
Soul to fit your frame, played your games, had no one to blame. Now the skies are clear, no shame. Got my rhythm back, no chains. Like a phoenix rising high, from your shadow I'll defy. Your control is null and dry. Watch me soar up to the sky. I owe you nothing, not a word, not a sigh. I'm flying high, yeah. You can watch me goodbye. You thought you held my key, now I've unlocked me. Turned your whispers down to 3, living loud and living free. Your grip was tight, I know, but look at how I've grown. Water me or let me go, either way I'm in the zone. I owe you nothing, not a word, not a sigh. I'm flying high, yeah. You can watch me goodbye. Held my key, now I've unlocked me. Turned your whispers down to 3, living loud and living free. Your grip was tight, I know, but look at how I've grown. Water me or let me go, either way I'm in the zone. I owe you nothing, not a word, not a sigh. I'm flying high, yeah. You can watch me goodbye.
So I was asked a question, when did the baby whisperer movement start? And I think it's a long question, because I think it really truly started in the summer of 1997. And the reason why I say that is because that summer was hell. The neighborhood we were in, it was a middle class neighborhood in Norfolk, Virginia, and it was some of the most craziness going on, because I do remember walking out of school, and I was in middle school, and seeing most of my friends wearing colors. And at that point, we knew what that meant. I'm a daughter of an ATF and DEA agent, and we knew what it meant. So watching my friends coming into the summer, dealing with a whole lot of things, it had me thinking, like, what can I do to make sure that no one gets hurt going into the summer? And right before we got out of school, one of our friends was killed by a gang war. And the gang war wasn't even in our neighborhood. I mean, it was not a part. They weren't a part of the neighborhood. We were in a upper middle class neighborhood in Norfolk, Virginia. So when it happened, I went to my mom and I was like, I want to do something for the kids that I know so we can stay out of trouble and still have a hell of a summer. My mom was like, if you can come up with an idea, we'll take it to the youth minister. We went to the youth minister and I came up with an idea, A Little Piece of Heaven. And A Little Piece of Heaven was a summer camp for kids in the neighborhood to come into the church, and we would be Monday through Friday, we would be in there like you're there at school, but we'll be doing fun stuff and we'll be talking about stuff and we'll be teaching, trying to bring out people's potential in themselves. And at this young age, I knew that the potential and your career meant something. So we took it to the youth pastor and they shot me down. They told me they didn't want that much of the neighborhood coming in because it was being problematic. And I think that was my first run in with the church when I'm like, that's not what the Bible says. So that was my first kind of my nose up to the Baptist church, because I've been seeing a lot of stuff. I grew up in church, so I've seen a lot of things. So I decided to do it in my house. So my dad was like, we cannot have 20 kids in our apartment. And we had a 4-bedroom apartment. And I was like, yes, we can. We'll all stay in this part. We had 20 kids the first 2 weeks. And actually what happened was I had all the kids that would go to Vacation Bible School. So in the first 2 weeks that they started, they had no one in Vacation Bible School because they were at my camp. So then the pastor came to me and said, hey, you can do it in the church. You just have to go around everybody else. So then when we went into Bank Street Memorial Baptist Church, we started off with 20 kids. We ended up with 65 by the end of the summer. In order for the kids to come in, you couldn't wear gang colors. You couldn't have any colors on. You would join into the group that I put you in. And we started off with 2 groups because at that time, I grew up with wrestling. So WCW and WWF were going at it. So we had the Wolfpack versus the Horsemen, which was so fun because if your family grew up in wrestling, you get it. So we had that going on. And then I had to stem off. So at the NWO, it was the most insane. Looking back now, it was the childish thing that did a hell of a lot because it brought down so much crime. The kids weren't on the street. The kids, we would be in summer camp from 2:00 in the afternoon to 7:00 at night. I was exhausted by the time I was getting up to the school year. But the one thing that I did do, and I saw the difference that you can do when you actually get out there in the communities and help people. The one thing I did do was keep some people alive. And to this day, there are some people that are like, so Baby Whisper movement is basically the stimulation into your older years of A Little Piece of Heaven. And I did that camp for 3 other years behind it. And when I got to be a sophomore in high school, it changed for me because there was a lot going on, and I gave it off to the missionaries and found out they just dead it in the water. So transpire on into my life in 2020 when COVID hit. I realized a couple of things then too, that teaching our children and what our children are going through in school, I didn't want my kids to go through. So when COVID hit, and I was working at the time at a daycare, and I was still with Homeland. So I was in the morning in the daycare, and in the evening I was doing stuff with them. And when COVID hit, they laid me off of the daycare. Everybody had shut down, except I was still in the evening doing stuff with Homeland. And when I opened up Imagine That was opened up because some of my kids' friends was looking at them like, how are you homeschooled and you can read better than me and you can write? Then some of my coworkers was like, hey, Vine, will you do me a favor? So then I went and helped them with that. The most funniest thing ever is that I didn't think it would take life the way it takes. For a very long time, I've been helping people. That's just naturally something. If I see you hurt, I'm going to try to help you. If I see you're a good person and you're trying to do something that's going wrong, I'm not going to judge you by somebody else's words that they have for you, because my experience with you might be really different. And growing in the fact of I have been to a lot of countries, I've seen a lot of things. The way I look at things are completely different. It's not an American viewpoint. Many people have a problem with the fact that I don't see things as most Americans. And I think that's my biggest advantage. When you think someone can't help, you can't help a situation, and somebody don't want to help themselves, and you have a very big hoopah on people, I'm going to try to understand why they're like that. Because most of the time when people don't want help is because they've been hurt. And when they have asked for help, no one has actually gave it to them. So I guess I didn't answer the question at all. I kind of did. It started in 1997. It was Chuck who was like, you should be doing this yourself. And Chuck just kept saying that. You should be doing this yourself. Do you know how many people we can help doing it yourself? And then the Baby Whisperer movement was born. And the movement has taken on a whole different light. This is not how I thought the movement was going to go. I never expected the movement to be broken to 4 parts. And when the movement started to transpire the way it is now, it is extremely different than what I thought it was going to be. It has gotten a lot bigger, I should say, because we have 4 parts. We have Raise the Roof, we have the Whisper Investigation, we have the Savage Room, and we have the Imaginators. So it's broken into 4 parts of one dream. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I have been on this journey and I have actually did it. No regrets. Not at all. I guess if we just did the defeats, we're going to have to do accomplishments. Being a mom is a hell of an accomplishment for me. They told me when I was 17 that I was not going to be able to have children, and I have 2 birth children and an adopted one, which is my oldest son. So being a mom is one. The second is being an agent. I know a lot of you guys have heard me talk about it, and I really don't. Some of you have went to look me up, and then they tell you to mind your business or not found. I have done a lot of stuff in my lifetime, which is one of my biggest accomplishments, because in 2008, it was a hell of an accomplishment for me for Scotland Yards to pull me. So I was excited. Obama was going in and I was going out. And the reason why I say that is because the most interesting thing is when Obama took over, most of us girls were told that we're captains, lieutenants, that our pay was going down. And I think it's the shift of how they were saying that if you get pregnant, this can happen, they got to pay for this and do this. It was a shift. So it was great because George Bush had raised our money up because he wanted more of us to go to war, but that's not the point. So I left here making $38 an hour. I went to Europe making $62 an hour, which was about 45 pounds, something around that. So it was a hell of an accomplishment. My kids have traveled more than some of you. So the boys were traveling as toddlers. They don't even remember half the stuff that we're doing. And we have pictures and everything of them in different countries, and they look at me like, vaguely I remember that. So that's one of my greatest accomplishments. My kids becoming an agent. My father told me that his daughter can become a teacher and a cook, but you're not gonna do what I did. And I'm looking at him like, okay, watch me. I'll do it without you even doing anything. So my mom was my greatest cheerleader. So, which was interesting because she was proud of what her daughter can accomplish. And I was doing it just to stick it to my daddy. So it's very interesting when you look at it because you're like, don't you do that. You be telling your kids that, and then you did it already yourself. Traveling is another accomplishment. It is. Traveling is one of the biggest accomplishments I've had. I've been to a lot of places. So, and keeping our tradition alive. A lot of people don't go back to their roots, and I stick in my roots. So, for those of you who don't know and like to, judge people because you see the color of our skin and you just assume. A lot of you assume to make asses of yourself, but that's not the point. The indigenous is in my blood, so I go to it a lot. And a lot of you look at me and you say, how can you speak all those languages? It became a habit because I was in so many places. So that's how I can do it. That's all I got for you.
Started from the bottom, now we climbing high. Doubt and fear they spread, but they can't deny. Hearts on fire, yeah, we gonna touch the sky. Ain't no looking back, we just gonna fly. Pressure make diamonds shining in the dark. Echo of our footsteps leaving marks. Grace under fire, swagger in a walk. Strong as a lion, hear our fears roar talk. Rise, unshaken heartbeat, steady thump. Strut like we mean it with that fierce jump. Power in our veins, no need to front. Rise and shaken, we are on the hunt. Through the storms we stand tall and sway. Never bowing down, we only stay. Faith in our souls, ain't no games we play. Unbreakable chains in every way. Fierce and free, breaking every mold. Stories of our triumph still untold. Sassy with our truth, shining bold. In our own right, legends unfold. Confidence is key, we keep our stride. Taking on this journey with pure pride. Unstoppable wave flow like a tide. Rise, unshaken love we won't hide. Rise, unshaken heartbeat, steady thumb. Strut like we mean it with that fierce jump. Power in our veins, no need to front. Rise unshaken, we are on the hunt. Heartbeat steady dome. Strut like we mean it with that fierce jump. Power in our veins, no need to front. Rise and shaking, we are on the hunt. Rise, unshaken heartbeat steady dome. Strut like we mean it with that fierce jump. Power in our veins, no need to front. Rise and shaking, we are on the hunt.
So you want me to talk about the biggest moment of my life? The biggest defeat of my life is when I got divorced. It's not one of the major defeats of my life, but it is one of the biggest defeats. Because as a woman who stands behind a queen and a wife, and this is what you should do, I know that I can fight on my own, and I know I am strong enough to raise my kids on my own, but it was not planned out that way. And sometimes I had to do the growing pains, which is why in the Savage Room I talk about growing pains, because a lot of people ask me about my divorce and I don't really talk about it because it is one of the most biggest defeats of my life. And the stuff that I put up with, when I look at it in hindsight, I did it for I'm not going to say a fictitious reason. I'm going to say a fantasized reason. Because I believe if I prayed enough, I believe if I did enough, I believe if I kept going on, if I compromised, then he would actually fall in line and be a husband. And the truth of the matter is you can't pray a person enough. You can't coerce a person enough, especially when they're the ones manipulating the whole situation. It actually broke my feelings of love from other people because I don't trust like I should. And at the ripe age of 42 now, I just shake my head at people really quickly when they have this notion that they will change. I've noticed in myself that I am not bitter. I don't trust like everybody else. So my ex-husband was Irish. He was not the American that everybody put in front of it. He was Irish. And he was old school Irish. So your wife stands behind you. It was a hell of a time for us because in 2004 or 5, we got married in 2005. In 2003, 4, 5, and we got married in 2005. It was a different time for everybody because no one looks at interracial relationships, but in Europe, they look at it. They don't look at it like everybody's thinking. It's just like, oh, you're going to deal with racism. I dealt with less racism in Europe than I did in my own country. And I'm going to tell you why. A lot of people look at me and they say, why do you say this? I dealt with most of the time when I opened my mouth and they knew I was American, most people backed off really quickly because us women are untamed, as they said. Then I'm a black girl with a white boy, and how does this work? So I think our first big fight was here, and he learned very quickly here that the Irish way doesn't really happen. So when we moved to Ireland, I was by myself. I had the boys by myself, and there was no breaks for me. There was no stopping. There was a constant pushing. There was a constant cleaning up messes, and I was already a mother of 3 boys. There's not 4. So I think what really broke our relationship is when I had a miscarriage, he got someone else's pregnant. So I think that's what really broke our, not even to throw in the fact of he was very unfaithful, but and you blame alcohol. You're unfaithful, you blame alcohol. It doesn't work that way. So not saying that I'm a perfect person, because I'm probably a very pretty hard person to deal with. Probably am. But I know that myself. But I also know my worth. So if we're going to argue about what I'm worth to you, then I'm not worth anything to you, because it should be no question on how you feel about me, especially as your wife. I had to file for divorce. I had to get a restraining order, because in Europe you have to get a restraining order, then you file for divorce, which means you're not supposed to be in the same house. And we weren't. And it was a tumultuous time for me, because all of the emotional abuse, all of the physical encounters, everything came to light. And I just remember his father's face looking at him and saying to him, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" So in court, he said she was the best business decision that I ever made. We had a lucrative business together. And I think the hardest part for me is I didn't get "I'm sorry, you caused this, it's all your fault, you need to fix it." So it didn't really bother me after a certain amount of time. I became numb. And I think being a mother of boys, you can't become numb, because you're angry at that. You're angry at God. So you have to learn how to forgive yourself for falling for manipulation. That's one of my biggest defeats in life, because I thought I would be the kid that, my mom was saying, "My daughter got married," and it would be going on and on and on. And within the first 5 years, I knew we were going to get divorced, because there are some things that is a no to me. Betrayal is betrayal for me. For some of you, it might be somewhere different. And I think him telling everybody that she filed for divorce, she took my kids. Like, you were never a father anyway. I always thought I was a single parent married. So I never crossed any lines. I never did anything else that he did. But, I always took care of business. But at a point, you get tired. And I was exhausted. And I don't care what anybody say. Nobody, not even God, wants you to be that miserable. So if somebody tell you you have to stay because it's your duty, then you stay there and let me go. Because I had to learn letting go is one of the hardest things. That is something that I'm worse at letting go. So one of my biggest defeats is my divorce. The other biggest defeat for me is losing my daughter. So for most of you, you don't know that in Ireland, I was pregnant with a daughter. And because of my ex-husband, she was born unalived. So that's not my fault, but it is something that you will always carry with you as a mother. Am I a good enough mother because of this reasons? Which is why I smother my children, and they know I do. So, they just be like, "Mom, you're too overprotective." In this day and age, you cannot be too sure. So, which is why when the kids come to me and I listen to them in depthly, which a lot of people say that's one of your biggest pet peeves. One of my biggest pet peeves is parents who don't believe their children. Sometimes your children might add in some fictitious things so they can make it seem real to themselves, but you need to sort it out. One of my biggest defeats. That's all I got for you.
Found another way to shine. You thought you could break my mind. Picked up the broken pieces, left your lies far behind. Don't need your fake sweet words. I'm flying high like birds. Your game is over, true. Now watch what I can do. You thought I'd shatter, crumble, but I took your mess and made it humble. Turned broken pieces into gold. Now watch my story unfold. Look at me rising tall. I'm dancing through it all. You lost your chance to cheat, I'm throwing off your deceit. Dreams ain't made from ashes, but I stomped out your crashes. Rebuild myself from scratch, you can't light another match. You thought I'd shatter, crumble, but I took your mess and made it humble. Turned broken pieces into gold. Now watch my story unfold. But I stomped out your crashes, rebuilt myself from scratch. You can't light another match. You thought I'd shatter, crumble, but I took your mess and made it humble. Turned broken pieces into gold. Now watch my story unfold.
Talking dreams, now schemes grow strong. Plant seeds, hustle hard, no facade. We cream of the crop, take heed. Fight the odds, build squad, shine bright, break free. In the ring, hear the ding, it's our time.
You don't wanna see the old me, but I swear she bout to come back. You don't wanna see the old me, pray to God she don't come back. Cause you don't want no smoke, you don't want no gas. You don't want this pain, cause you don't know my past. You don't wanna see the old me, cause I swear she bout to come back. You don't wanna see the old me, pray to God she don't come back. I'm not the style aggressive, but lucky for you I've been working on me, so I guess you could call it a blessing. Normally I would just body you, leave you on red and don't even stress it. You hitting my line.
Alright, y'all know what this is. This is gonna be one unusual day because y'all gonna see people moving around, y'all gonna hear people. Like always, we in the savage room and this is a normal household. So today, savage room turns 1. Also today, the baby whisperer turned 42. It's a momentous day for us. And while we are recording these for y'all to see on one Pacific day, this week has been absolutely hell for the baby whisper movement. As we have entered into new chambers of life, we've been changing things and restructuring things. And what we've realized is that the baby whisper movement has become bigger, better, and more dominant to help you and your family throughout the year. This is Ravishing Queen. And we about to do this a whole different way. You're going to just see the baby whisper tonight. You're going to hear me speak on a couple of things. And I'm going to let it go. You're going to see a lot of things on this video that's going to lead up into the points of my life on how I got to be who I am. Because journey in life is all about how you perceive it. It's not about what somebody else perceives of you. It's about how you perceive of yourself. Because see, queens, we always think that because what somebody say, it goes for us. But the negative words that a lot of people have on us can be discontinued by the positive reinforcements that we put in our own self. This is Savage Room. Y'all know what we do in the Savage Room. This is where we train, we learn, we laugh, we cry, we get angry. But in the end of the Savage Room, we learn lessons of life to better ourselves, to be bigger and better queens. Because the Savage Room is all about you. Not me, you. Yeah, you. This is what the Savage Room was made for. It was made to empower you to understand that we all go through something. But the point that we become true queens and queens of our noted potential is how we react to those situations. Situationals happen in our life from day to day. That is the game of life. We never have a life that just goes by and just great things just happen. That is a fairy tale. The reason why we tell our kids about fairy tales is not because we're supposed to be able to teach them that real things don't happen. We teach them about fairy tales to give them hope, to somehow take that deal and change it into something that they're going to need to use later on. I just unlocked a whole lot on you right at once. This is Ravishing Queen. We always start off with a little something. We always start out with a definition. But I'm not going to start off with a definition this time. Let's jump right into it. This is Ravishing Queen. Alright, y'all, here we go. I want to talk about something. And a lot of us was saying, Baby Whisper, how did you get to be where you at right now? And I'm going to tell you, it was not an easy go to get to where I am. There was a lot of challenges. There was a lot of people telling me I would never be where I am. There was a lot of people telling me that I should be just like my parents. On one side, my mother was a strong black woman who knew who she was. She was very into teaching and helping others. She got all the way up and she worked her way through what we call the time that black people was always held down. She got herself all the way up to be an OBGYN in the 70s. She was working as a nurse assistant and worked her way all the way up working to get there. She let it go in 1983 a year after I was born, to raise her kids. My mother was a strong teacher. She taught us everything first. We were homeschooled before we were put into school. I went to school all of my life, but between my preschool and my kindergarten years, I was homeschooled because the first school starts in the home. I learned that in growing up in my years. My father was a strong black man who grew up in New York. His philosophy was that the family was supposed to precede by him. He was the provider. He did everything that we needed. When it came to something, my father got it. I grew up with strong black men. I didn't grow up with men who did not know their positions that they supposed to play. So when they talk about old school and the new school, I am a part of the old school that most people have a problem with. Because when I grew up, there was a time where, and I grew up in the 90s, in the late 80s, 90s, there was a time when women knew their position. But what we don't understand right now is that our position has never changed. You see, everybody like to say, well, this is the ruler of the house and this is the person running the house. Y'all have gotten things all mixed up. Because if you didn't know it or not, the woman has always ran the house. The woman has always been the person behind the man running the money. The woman has always been the person who turns around and tell you, okay, you need to get this together. We've always been the negotiator. We've always been the judge. We've always been the nurturer. We've always been the naturer. We've always been it. The only problem is, a long time ago, your partner knew that the two of you had to have the same thing. You see, when we talk about Ravishing Queen, y'all keep thinking that I'm talking about not going through something. But you have to learn something in your life. If you have never been through anything, you're never going to know anything. And if you don't know what you need to go through and how to change it, challenge it, and master it, you're never going to understand what true queenship is. A courtyard is not a place where you just succeed. You have to know how to wear the storm. And some of these storms are brought by our own attention. You see, when I say that, I mean some of us like to put ourselves in situations, insert ourselves in situations we should not be in. See, ravishing means. See, a lot of y'all want to say, oh, baby, you say you weren't going to get to that. You won't going to do no. I want to break it down for you really, really good before I hit it really, really hard. Ravishing means, and this is the Webster Dictionary, delight and intriguing. That's what it means. Delightful and intriguing. Well, why would you say a ravishing queen? To plunder or carry away, a later sense arose that meant to carry away in pleasure or seduction. Y'all see where I'm going with this? See, when I say ravishing queen, I have had a lot of misery. I have been through a lot. I have weathered some storms. I have made myself into some storms that I probably shouldn't have been into. But is this a compliment when I give it to you? It's not meant to be a compliment. For those of y'all saying, oh my goodness, she's saying she's a ravishing queen. I'm a warrior. I'm telling you that I'm tarnished, I'm broken, I'm battered, and I'm still standing. Can you still stand? See, this is the day of my birthday, so I want to go through all this like this and tell you I'm still standing. This has been a hellish year. Matter of fact, it's been a hellish 5 years, and I'm still standing. I don't dwell on the negative. I don't tell you about everything I've been through. I walk through it. You might see it on my face, but I don't give it the pleasure of letting something know that it has kicked my ass. But I tell you what I have done. I have got up and rise up. Rise up, queens. If you don't get anything out of the night, I'm hoping you get rise up, queens. I want y'all to recognize something. Y'all know when I look down, I got my handy dandy notebook. Look a bit different. It's the same notebook. It's just we got like 10 of them running around here. Anyway, so embrace your inherent power. I want y'all to think about something. We all see our mothers and we all look at our mothers and we say, our mothers were strong. She did this, and this. She might have did that wrong. That's the how I wouldn't have did it. I want to ask you something right quick before you want to tell your mother what she did wrong. I want you to put yourself in her position. See, queens before us had a whole different time to deal with. We are dealing with a Pacific time right now in the same exact age group that our parents was dealing with a Pacific time then. We all like to throw our 2 cents out there and tell our parents what they did wrong. But I want you to think about something. Just think about something. That strength you have, that commitment you have, that love you have, that undying, wavering determination you have, that stubbornness you have is inherited. It is the inherited power you got from them people that drove you fucking crazy. Those people that you said, if they just understand, now your kid's saying to you. And you looking like, you had it way better than me. Your inherited power comes down on your bloodline. Hear me out. Hear me out. We like to define a queen. It embodies the qualities of a queen: strength, grace, leadership, and self-worth. Strength is inherited. You watch how somebody takes care of something. You watch how somebody dealt with something. You watch how this happens. And then you take that strength that they have and turn it into yours. It's inherited. Self-worth is inherited. A lot of us don't understand self-worth because when we look at our parents to see what the self-worth was, some of us didn't have mothers to see. Some of us watched our aunties, our grandmothers. It doesn't matter who you watch. That person that you watch to inherit these traits. If you couldn't understand it, if you couldn't grasp it, you still trying to say, well, I don't have it. Stop comparing yourself to what's inherited in your bloodline. Comparison makes an ass of yourself. Assuming makes an ass out of you. Stop comparing your inherited strengths, self-worth, self-confidence. Stop inheriting it. Stop When I say stop inheriting, I mean stop comparing the inheritance of it. The reason why I'm saying it like that is because a lot of y'all turn around and see yourselves and you say, my mama did this, this, and this. Your mother was in a different time, a different situation, dealing with different people. There is no one like it was when we were kids. We are the people watching those people pass away. They are now the elders and the ancestors that are up in heaven. Some of them probably ain't up in heaven, but that ain't the point. We are now the elders, and those kids are looking at us. So I have a question before you want to talk about that girl down the street, before you want to talk about that fast little girl doing stuff she ain't got no business, before you want to do those things, what has she inherited from the people that she watched? Some of y'all putting the negativeness in your children. And then you are blaming social media, you blaming everybody else, but you won't look at yourself. If you don't turn around and see what you are inherently giving to the next bloodline, then you are going to mistakenly let somebody else talk and manipulate their way in to your younger generation. Look what we dealing with now. Most of y'all don't even know y'all personal power. You looking to somebody else to tell you what your power is. If you a queen, you gonna understand that your power changes every day. Every day, our power gets stronger and it changes. By the time the essence of our power is done, we are at 60. Some of us don't have the pleasure of hitting 60. We are taking out this world way too soon. Because our personal power to ourselves, we have given to everybody else. Hear me out before you start saying something. You have given all to everyone else, and they have drained you. And this is why I say pour back into yourself. Your personal power is how you pull yourself out of situations. A lot of us lean on spiritual things, whether it is positive spiritual or it is negative spiritual. And I don't care what you say. You cannot take a dark spirit and make it white. It doesn't work that way. Once your body is melanated with that darkness, it does not change to be lighter. It might lighten in tone, but it is still a dark notation. For those of y'all who are sitting around asking yourself why you got so many negative things around you, you might want to check your personal power of what you breathing in. Because some of the people that they put around you, you might think they are for you, and you trying to figure out, well, why this keep happening? Check your table. Which is why about 3 Savage Rooms ago, I told you to clear your table. Your table and who you sit at your table is so important, because while you are sitting there healing yourself, you got people wishing you were dead. Because anybody that pulls power from you wants to see you depleted. And once you go to a certain part of depletion, depression overwhelms. Y'all want to know how you get out of those depressive states. Y'all want to know how you get out of that slump. Y'all want to know why when you call certain people, negativeness and chaos and drama is what they thrive in. You cannot have any white magic. I don't care what you say. I've been all the way down to the indigenous part. I've been to different countries. It don't work that way. What changes what you do is the naturality of what it is. If you didn't get what I just said, you're not a spiritual person. For those of y'all who say spiritology have nothing to do with self, you are still living in a fairy tale. You're living in a fairy tale. Your life consists of reality and spirituality. When you cannot put the whole self back together, you got to cleanse both parts. When you can't put your whole self back together, your inner power gets drained. Why do you think they talk about energy? Baby, we're going in a whole different light. I'm trying to bring you back to something. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me now. Then we got worth. We building a house. The house is your castle. Then we got worth. We talking about inner power. Now we on inner worth. Some of y'all don't have inner worth because you are still materialistically looking at yourself like you supposed to be a made up doll. Hello, Barbie. Let's go party. Ain't none of us Barbie dolls. All of us is real. Ain't none of us Barbie dolls. It don't matter if you got crooked ass, crooked teeth, big head, big knees. It don't matter what you got. Your worth is that you are precious. Somebody tell you, I don't like the way you look. That's their business, because it's going to be somebody out there that's going to like the way you look. But before you find that somebody, you might want to look in the mirror and say, damn girl, you beautiful. Oh my mama, oh my hood, I look fly, I look good. Y'all know that song? Touch my swag. That's why I tell y'all to do that. Your worth means nothing if you don't believe in your worth. People look at you and they see what you bubbling up to be. Your energy pushes it out. Even if you say, I can get up here and smile. Some of y'all, I can tell why you smiling and I ask you still, what's wrong? You looking at me like how she see that. I don't see the phony facade that you put up. I see the true person that's in you. And your energy saying, I'm smiling because I don't want nobody to know something is wrong. I know when I look in your face because I look into your eyes and I see it. Your worth should be there saying, bitch, I'm here. When he tell you you ain't worth nothing, you turn around and tell him, then I gotta mean I'm worth something because you trying to take my worth from me. People pull you down with certain words that your emotional get first. Take your emotions out of when you talking about your worth, because the only thing you need to do is be brash and sassy. Know that you are worth everything in this damn world. When they ask you, how much are you worth? They already don't think you worth anything. You don't need to talk to them. You can't afford me. See, most of y'all run around here yelling, y'all guys can't afford me, because they can buy you. The girls who look at them and say, why you wondering about how much I'm worth, how much you worth? If you turn the question back to somebody, normally they're going to give you the most sarcastic answers. Unless you talking to an actual king and queen who not gonna ask you that question. A queen might ask you that question because she trying to get to see where you at. A king ain't gonna ask you that question because he already know what queens is worth. Harems is who you pay. Are you a harem or you a queen? Because no queen can be brought. You come with your own and you mix it with his. See, a lot of y'all get married and you forget that you a wife, but you must always sustain your own. What happens if your husband fall ill and cannot work? You cannot come up to the table and say, well, I'm doing everything, because he was doing everything 2 years ago. When you start to put your selfish gain in the middle of your worth, you are materialistically telling yourself that you can be brought. Take out those words that you're telling yourself. Your worth is way more than what you think. You shouldn't even speak no words. As soon as somebody say what you worth, you say, y'all remember that? You got the hand. Or give them the finger. The middle one. Yep, I just said that. You should stop letting people tell you what you are. Stop letting people tell you who you are, what you got. They don't know. They are guessing or manipulating you to be able to do what they want you to do. Which brings me to acknowledgement. Can you acknowledge your worth to yourself? Self-affirmations are so important. They are the most important thing that we got. A lot of us don't have self-affirmations because we too busy. Y'all see that car y'all be sitting in? Y'all know that car y'all be sitting in? Y'all know that mirror can flap down? Y'all know y'all got a rear view mirror. You should anyway if you in a car that's active. Y'all gonna hear our side mirrors. Y'all know y'all can blast that music anytime you want to. I am a powerful force of change and transformation. How easy was that? I am a powerful force of change and affirmation. I am a powerful force of change and transformation. I am a butterfly. You can't cage me. Do y'all know why the caged bird sings? Maya Angelou got us with that one, didn't she? Y'all, some of y'all still don't understand how a caged bird was singing, because she caged in her own self. Stop putting worth on yourself. You worth more than that. You priceless. You not a diamond in the rough. You a gem. Can they find you? See, we all like to say we diamonds. You not a diamond, sweetheart. You a gem. See, blood diamonds are because everybody wants to get what they got, the biggest thing, the biggest stone. Diamonds are not rare. Gems are. I'm going to let that sink in. And then when something happened, all y'all ready to, where is my pity party? Get your ass up. Get up. They look at me and they say, baby, Whisper, you just be speaking and you don't think about somebody else's feelings. I want to anger you. See, we keep thinking that rage and anger is the same thing. I didn't explain this about 5 Savage Rooms back. Rage is hate. Anger is frustration and love. Rage and anger are 2 different things in the same category. When you get angry about what you should have been having and doing, you notice that you start changing the situation. When you are raging against everything, you destroy everything. Words are so powerful. If you don't understand them yourself, it will change your whole being. Because somebody else is going to manipulate you into understanding some words that you shouldn't be understanding and forgetting the words that you should be. Like facing adversity with strength. See, some of y'all seen people face adversity with strength, and you think because they kept themselves composed, then that was the best strength. Sometimes action is louder than words. If you don't understand that you need that resilience. I keep talking about resilience. Y'all keep looking at me like, what the hell is she talking about? If you don't understand that the setback ain't got not a motherfucking thing to do with the comeback. What? The setback is set. Let's break it down. Let's break the word down. It is set to bring you into a situation that you feel like is going to break you. Set. It means it's going to push a button back. It's going to push your ass 12 steps back. Now, if you don't have inner strength and resilience because you are relying on everybody else to give you an answer, you are never going to understand comeback. The comeback cannot be reset until you set your resilience. See, you got the strength to stand up when something happened, but you don't have the resilience to walk forward after it happened. The setback is the situation that somebody has thrown you in because they know that they got power over you, i.e. domestic violence, divorce, relationship crumbles, friends that turn into enemies. I'm going to tell you something. We have more frenemies in this life than we have friends. You confuse frenemies and friends because that frenemy has the illusion on you that they need you to help them. You don't understand that most frenemies is taken from you 24/7. They only there to get every power. When I say power, I mean, they trying to take all your resilience, your self-love, your self-determination, negative notations. People suck it out of you to see you miserable. Frenemies are all over the place. Very few, far in between, do we find friends. And I'm going to tell you about your friends. If your friend can't tell your ass off in the midst of you being miserable, they ain't a friend. If your friend cannot step in and say, girl, something the hell is wrong with you. If your friend can't tell you the truth about that boy. If your friend don't tell you, you look like a hoe. You don't have a friend. I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of people like to say, girl, you look so good. And she know you look like a clown. She's sending you out there to give you all those negative notations. Then she gonna feed in the negativity into you. Then she gonna hype you up for you to get rage, not anger. Rage and anger are two different things. They play in the same field. Except rage is hate, confusion. And anger is frustration, love. See where I'm going with this? We have a lot of frenemies that come around us. We don't have that many friends. We get confused because she needs my help. No, she needs your potential to grow her own self. What she don't understand is that potential she taking from you, that positive notation she taking from you, she cannot use that forever. So she gonna come back to you and say, girl, I'm sorry, I was going through something. If you won't tell her to take her to go plate and get the fuck out your face. Yeah, I said it like that. I told y'all my mouth ain't pretty, but my words mean something. You keep thinking that you're supposed to be here to help everybody. No, sweethearts. No, sweethearts. See, we got a to-go plate for a reason. You're not ignoring somebody in need. You giving them something and tell them there is no attachment to yourself. Stop saying, she my friend, and she my friend, and she my friend. If you going out every Friday night and drinking with these so-called friends and y'all got other shit to be doing, where your friends at? If for some reason you having all these negative people around you, or somebody just seems to be following you and you don't know how they got your name and your number, where your friend at? See, we keep pushing this on our children, that you need friends. No, you don't. You need a tight-knit circle is what you need. That's what you need. You need people around you that's going to positively lift you back up. And if y'all keep thinking that friends supposed to tell you all positive things at every motherfucking time of the day, you don't understand what a friend is. Because sometimes you need to hear the hard truth. But you know, you keep saying, well, that's a setback. You still ain't learned the setback. See, a setback works on people because you never know that you got to learn the defeat. They defeated you so many times with the same tactic. Y'all got to learn the rules of war. Y'all looking at me like, what do you mean the rules of war? Every day we do the rules of war. Every day spiritually we go through a war. We go through a war. That is the part of the game of life. Baby, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Your setback was sent after you by a specific person that wants to manipulate your life and pull you down. Are you getting where I'm going now? Inside of that setback, you are standing at the bottom. In order for you to be able to rise up, queens, you have to understand that you need to put your feet on the floor. Why? Because you have to understand how you got in that setback. If you don't understand how you got there, you are doomed to repeat it. Therefore, you have never came back. You are still in the setback. You just nicely standing on the floor, just partying on the floor, just, walking around, making what you call friends in the middle of your enemy's camp. You just sitting down there playing a whole game in the middle of the setback. Then you going to have that one person that's going to come along and say, hey, yo, you don't belong down there. And then you going to get mad and say, you don't know me. Yeah, they do. You just being all kinds of mean to me. No, they're not. You don't know what I've been through. They already been there. That's why they telling you, hey, yo, you don't belong there. Everything that somebody say to you, you need to stop taking your feelings into it. See, you in your feelings because you sit in the middle of your spiritual war. You don't know your strength. You have no clue what your worth is. And you have already sold your potential for your so-called friends. So therefore, you are sitting in your setback saying, what am I supposed to do now? Put your feet on the ground. Let's start there. Stand tall. Let's start there. Stand by yourself. See, this is where selfishness takes in just a little bit. See, everybody keep thinking selfish is negative. Sometimes when you become selfish, you must be selfish to be selfless so you can get yourself out of a situation. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. If somebody say, what about me? Who gives a fuck right now? I'm trying to get me out of this. If I can't get out of this situation, you definitely ain't gonna get out this situation. You need to stop thinking that sometimes you in the game of two. You're not in the game of two. Because we all go through personal battles by ourselves. And that personal battle that you're going through, you can't pull nobody else in. Because as soon as you pull somebody else in, i.e. that's why half of y'all marriages fail. Because you in the middle of a self-battle. You pulling in your husband and your wife. You don't have a clue how to get the fuck out of it. They trying to tell you what they trying to tell you. Not because they want it from you. Because they want to see you rise up. And then you turn your frustration and anger to rage. Then you go about your business and you go cheat. Then you tell everybody your husband, your wife no good. Then you tell everybody you want more. What you want more, you still in the same setback that your husband and wife trying to get you out because there are the situation when you tie yourself to somebody else. I ain't talking about boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm talking about husband and wives. When you tie yourself to somebody else, your setback is going to make them setback. And if you don't come back, they cannot come back fully without bringing you up with them. And you can't bring up negative baggage when it's way behind you. I.e. some of y'all get mad at your husbands when they say they so sick of you and all your bullshit. On the flip side, everybody look at me and they go, well, that's not the girl code. Here go a girl code. How about you stop putting all your negative notation on your significant other? How about you stop taking your rage out on your husband or your boyfriend? How about you stop blaming him from somebody who did something to you in the past? How about you blame him for shit he actually did? Try that first before you get mad at what I just said. Because some of us jump from one relationship to the other and we got so much self-negative thorns tied around us that we gonna take it straight into this relationship and fuck up this other person. Yeah, I said it. I'm talking to y'all queens. Yeah, I said it. Have I did it before? Hell no, I know better. First of all, when you bring a negative thorn into somewhere else, when you bring all of that baggage, emotional baggage, and put it on somebody else, when you have those feelings that you see yourself bubbling up in yourself, a true queen knows when to reset herself. You can't go from one relationship to the next. You can't go from one friendship to the next. You must get rid of all of those negative notations in order for yourself to reset. Because if you don't reset, every negative notion that you thought you got rid of is going to come into that other part. Then you gonna find yourself with these people talking about you. Then you gonna find yourself waking up after you finally get all that cloud and confusion. You gonna find yourself, your homegirl sleeping with your boyfriend. Sweetheart, what homegirl? I'm waiting for somebody to answer me, but I know this is not gonna happen. Y'all probably yelling at your TV right now saying, ooh, she got a point. I ain't gotta have no point, because I just hit a whole bunch of y'all queens in the head with what I just said. And then some of y'all gonna take these guys because you think you've heard that they the biggest you know what. And you got a whole magician in your hands. Because you done stole somebody else's. They got a good guy. What they think is a good guy can be a whole hell of a lot of hell for you. But you still in your setback. Baby Whisper, how long does a setback last? A setback lasts at least 6 months. By the time your setback is already set in the 6th month, you ready for your comeback. Your comeback don't look the same. Your comeback journey is not the same as that damn journey you just took to come out the setback. You like, girl, what you mean? Your setback is a whole fucking forest full of a hell of a lot of things that you slaying and you getting. And when you learn at the end of that forest, the person you running from is you. If you see anybody else in that horror dream, that you still ain't done with your setback. Because the only person that can defeat you is you. Then you say, well, what I do in my comeback? What you mean what you do in your comeback? While you standing up, girl, put one foot in front of the other and start fucking walking. See, in your walking and your journey, you're going to learn that this road ain't the same. You're going to learn that the people around you ain't the same. You're going to learn that you're going to start being attracting different people. If you still attracting the same exact people, you still in your setback because you got a soul tie somewhere. Turn your ass around, go back through that forest to the beginning and get your ass out the goddamn forest. The forest that we talking about, that setback, that journey that you're trying to get out of, is the situational that you put yourself in. So y'all thinking, well, she gonna come here and be jolly. Nah, I came here to kick y'all asses. See, y'all want to know how I got to where I am today. You want to know how I can do what I do. I can do what I do because I had to go through every setback. I had to understand every comeback. And I had to understand frenemies that is all over the place. Even people you grew up with your whole motherfucking life can hate you. They can love you and hate you at the same time. What do you mean? There are some people that we grew up with that we would lay our life down on the line and they would watch us because they hate us. Why somebody want to be me? What the hell do I have? You have self-resilience. You have self-worth. You have self-strength. You have self-love. What the hell does that mean? That means you can make money, motherfucker. What you mean? You want to know how half of these millionaires make money? They have the 5 elements of life. They might hate themselves because the way they make money is making other people illusion of themselves. You can't deceive another and get clean money. Every money is not good money. And if you talk about the American dollar, it is drenched in blood. If you don't get it, if you don't understand it, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you might want to go all the way back and listen to Authentically Me. Because I ain't going to go there right now. We at Ravishing Queen. That's where we at. So I want y'all to do me a favor. Y'all know I love giving you little stuff to do. I want you to reflect on your life. Reflect on everything that you got. And if you still in that setback, I want you to explain it to yourself in your journals. And if you don't have the Savage Room journal, you might want to get it. Because this ain't about no shadow. This ain't about no self looking in. This ain't about no life. This is about laying down your actual foundation of your courtyard. You see, if you don't understand yourself, if you don't understand who you really are, some of us are in our 30s and don't even know who the fuck you are. And then you gonna go ask a therapist, who am I? They gonna tell you who they perceive you to be. The only person that can answer that question is you. Who are you? What do you have? What is your self-strength? What is your self-worth? I don't want to hear no negativity. I don't care if you have a whole bunch of negative things. If you can't say one or more positive things about yourself, baby girl, you need to go back to mirror, mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Am I queen? Will it be? Hell yeah, that's me. If you don't understand yourself, if you can't reflect on what is going on, the biggest way you come out of a setback is reflection. Honest reflection. If you fucked up, tell yourself you did. It ain't gonna last forever. It's gonna last in that moment. Your situation has to be known. I fucked up. Tell yourself that. Don't nobody else gotta hear you say that. Tell yourself that. Reflect on what you have done on yourself. So by the time you get into self-reflection, you're gonna be like, wait a minute. And then you're gonna start with, this is self-accountability. This is my favorite part. Because then you're gonna be like, did that just happen? Hell yeah, it just happened. Did she do that? Yes, she did. She sure did with her whole chest. Sure did. Did he just do? Yeah, he sure did. I'm going to sit my Pepsi on that one. Sure is. Because in accountability, you're going to start seeing those rose-colored glasses you had for certain people. You're going to be sitting there like, motherfucker. Yeah. That's why some old people be sitting there and y'all thinking they drift off into the day. No, they reflected. Did they just do that? Walk it back in your head. Did that just happen? Yeah, it did. Did you understand what just said? Did you understand the words coming out of my mouth? If you can't self-reflect, self-reflection is not about, I did this right and that right and this right. No. That's not self-accountability. That's self-reward. So you can give yourself self-reward at the end of your comeback. Some of y'all sit in y'all setback. Baby Whisper, you done told us about our setback, but you ain't tell us how to come back. I told you stand the hell up. While you standing up, you need to reflect on the whole thing that's happened. And I don't mean just that situation. Because what you're going to realize is that it's a butterfly effect. This situation led to this situation, which came from that situation, came from that person, which that person is tied to that person and tied to that person. And you're going to see that whole web. There is the web of deceit. Who's the magician? Who pulling your strings? Find the Geppetto that is pulling your strings. See, Pokemon, Pinocchio, about the same. Somebody holding the ball. Somebody got them strings. Your setback was caused by a situation. And if you can't reflect, and you can't look, you can't be accountable, you can't tell yourself honestly, you need to get up. Your resilience is never gonna wake up. Never gonna wake up. And then you gonna say, well, I'm authentically this kind of person. Nobody's authentically a hot bowl of mess. Authentic and hot bowl of mess don't get together. It don't get together. Fakely and a hot bowl of mess goes together. If you can't be you around people, if you got to change you, if you got to change any part of you, if you can't talk the way you talk, if you can't walk the way you walk, if you can't say what you mean, if you can't feel what you feel, then you are not being authentic, and therefore you are going to be pulled back into a setback. If you ain't get what I just said, then you still back and authentically me. See, we done came up. Rise up, queens. Now it's not time for you to take out that sassiness. Now it's not time for you not to be bold enough to say you worth somewhere. Now it's not time for you to say, God damn it, I'm pretty. I don't care if you got big eyes, big lips, big head, big titties, big butt, whatever. If you paid for it, it's yours. Therefore, that is not what make you pretty. What you gonna learn is when you confidently say, I love myself, you gonna change your aura. What people look at is not the physical all the time. Most real people look at your aura. Which is why a lot of people like to get around you and suck the life out of you. Because spiritual and physical go together. Now, some of y'all gonna get mad what I'm about to say. If you don't know how to act, then you are never gonna know how to be a queen. Because the brash actions that you make, and I don't mean if you go and say, I'm going to dye my hair, that's not brash actions. That is a materialistic actions that you're trying to confidently make yourself feel better. Fictitiously, you are changing your appearance. I'm not talking about those actions. I'm talking about, I'm going to take a class and I'm going to be, learning how to do this. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start getting involved in this. You have to strategically move yourself with action. Materialistic action means nothing. Spiritual and physical action for your well-being means everything. And if you're not bold enough to say, I don't want to do that, that's not me. You're not bold enough to face nobody yet. So your boldness and your brashness, they're going to say, you changed. You're supposed to change. You're evolving to be a better you. See, when queens in their 20s look at queens in their 60s, they're not supposed to see themselves. Queens that are younger, you're supposed to look at you and say, how the hell she get there? See that mindset you putting them in? Come on, girl, that mindset you getting into. You ready to fight to where I'm at when I'm at? I had to fight to get here. When you talk about you fighting, you're not talking about physically beating someone up. You talking about physically and emotionally taking yourself on to change yourself to where you are. Then you a bold motherfucker. Yeah, I just said that, just like that. You can't call yourself no badass unless you have physically and emotionally and spiritually changed yourself for the better. I didn't say manipulate yourself. I said change yourself. Because see, you going to get a BBL is you are physically manipulating yourself. You turning around and say, my butt too small, but it's mine. Yep, mine. It's cute. That is changing yourself. And making the decision to change your surroundings is everything. I didn't say go move yourself from one state to another. I said change your surroundings. Some of those people that you keep calling your friends, some of them people that you walk into a building with and y'all yell y'all in church, and half of y'all don't even know what God is. Yeah, I just said that. Some of y'all are manipulating people to believe that you are a certain person. But the decision in your head, when you finally say, this is me. Y'all remember that song? This is me. When you finally say, this is me. When you finally say, listen, this is how I move. If you don't like how I move, if you don't accept how I move, if you don't accept it, I don't like that. The reason why most of us can't agree on anything, because we don't know what compromise is. Compromise is coming to an agreement that that person is different and you have different opinion, but y'all know not to cross each other at a certain part because boundaries are put in place. Boundaries, ladies and gentlemen, boundaries. Kings and queens, what's your boundaries? Do you have boundaries for your friends? Do you have boundaries for your family? Do you have boundaries in anything that you do? Some of y'all kids don't even know what boundaries is. You don't know what boundaries is because you so fearful of setting a limit to people. Because you don't want people to say, oh, they being selfish. Oh, they stuck up. No, sweetheart. We have boundaries. A healthy way of thinking yourself. A healthy way of seeing yourself. A healthy way of keeping self-love and self-worth is setting boundaries in your life. That's how the chessboard works. Baby, what's what you always say, the chessboard of life. We play the chessboard of life. Some of us get to be that pleasurable age of 100. Not many of us get there. Some of us get up to 80. Not many of us get there. You gonna notice though that they got some boundaries in life. You gonna notice that they got bold actions that they are not afraid to do. You gonna notice that they make decisions in life that a lot of people get angry with them about. If you are deciding your peace, I don't give a damn who get angry. Close that door and tell them they can stay on the outside. If you do not decide to have your own peace, you are never going to know your self-worth, because everybody going to tell you what you worth. And when you finally figure out that your worth has no price, to infinity and beyond, maybe we going to talk about that. And then you're going to realize one little thing. In the middle of all your boldness, you're going to realize something. You're going to realize that you have just made your kingdom. You're going to realize that your whole kingdom has been put together. Some of the people that you thought you were going to take with you is on the outside. Leave them there. You can always go out your walls of your peace and go visit them. But make sure that you shed all that negativity back outside your door before you walk back in your courtyard. You see, some people don't want to see you succeed. You have to understand, to build yourself to where you need to be, you're not going to take everybody with you. That is okay. Because when one person falls off, you're going to find another person that's going to replace them. I didn't mean replace them as a person, because you can't replace a person. What I mean is replace their position. Stop thinking that your whole life is about this same chessboard. Some of us is still on the chessboard when we were teenagers. You are too big for that tricycle. Get the hell up. They made tricycles for adults for a reason. Because some of y'all want to be young your whole life. You are afraid to grow up and be a person, an accountable adult. You're afraid to be there because you want to have everybody else take your responsibility for you. You never want to be held accountable. And some of y'all are never held accountable. And the problem that you have now gained yourself is everybody else know that they can pull on your self-worth. Therefore, you are just now a draining board from everybody else. You are a sacrifice. And then some of y'all parents looking at me and you thinking, what are you talking about? When you make your kids so dependable on you, when you don't tell your kids that they're supposed to go out and do certain things on themselves, when your kids don't understand boundaries, when your kids think everybody they friends, they are becoming sacrifices. And that's why some of us have lost our kids way too young. Oh, we got quiet now. Oh, I ain't done yet. Not yet. Hold on a second. Most of y'all teach our daughters that a king is supposed to come and save them. There is going to be some prince in shining armor with a whole bunch of money that's going to come save them. That's why half of your daughters are in domestic violence situations. That's why half of them don't understand that they are worth more than their body. You have taught them to be selling themselves. Oh, now you mad. So let me help you out here. In your lifetime, if you have never set your daughter down and told your daughter that she is beautiful and she is worth it, if she still don't get it, then she has been a setback. You cannot pull a grown-ass woman out of a setback. You can't do it. You can't walk a grown-ass man out of a setback either. That's why having a whole bunch of women is what they're supposed to have. Because they have put in their head, they have manipulated them thinking that this is power. Power is controlling yourself. See, it's very easy to manipulate a person, but you can never manipulate yourself in doing the right thing. Because it is hard to do the right thing when you understand that by you doing the right thing, by you changing yourself, you change every situation around you. If you parents are still in a situational that is keeping yourself to doing stupid things, your children are learning the wrong things. Whether you show it to them, they hear it, they see it, they know it, they understand it. They are going to agree with it because they can relate to it. But it is very hard to push self-worth in our girls, because our girls think that when they look in the mirror, it is the physical notation they see. Every queen looks in the mirror and sees her aura first. Baby Whisper, where are you going with this? Let's wrap it up here. See, Ravishing Queen is about the setback. Every queen has been through at least 100 setbacks. Most of us don't become a queen till we 40. What the hell we fighting for? Your self-worth. You see, most older women understand that no matter what you say to me, I have the positive authority over myself to change it. We don't understand it till we gotta go through it. Till it's drilled in us. What the hell am I still getting in a setback for? Because we forgot the authority over ourselves. Ravishing Queen is about the authority over your courtyard. And before you can control what is around you, you have to control yourself. As soon as you give your power and authority to someone else, it changes the game. Now, most of y'all gonna say, I believe in God. God don't have nothing to do with this. He gonna tell you to love thyself. Self-love, self-worth, self-determination, self-authority. How do you pull yourself out of depression? Self-authority. How do you pull yourself out of domestic violence? Self-authority. You have to know that you are worth it to get the fuck out of it. Self-accountability. Ravishing Queen is about self-authority. If you cannot authorize yourself to be the dominion over yourself, to say this will not defeat me, you are always going to depend on somebody that is going to take your authority from you. Therefore, you are not a queen. You are a princess. Don't get mad at my words. Listen to my words, because I'm not saying them to be negative notation on you. I'm saying them so you can get mad enough to get the fuck up. You can't rise up while somebody else is holding something over you. You can't rise up if you always going to somebody else to do something for you. You can't rise up if you don't understand who you really are. Because no matter how much you tell yourself, you're going to look at somebody else to tell you if it's true. Go get a goddamn mirror and ask yourself, am I a queen? Keep saying it until you on the third time gonna say, damn right. On my mama, on my hood, I look fly, I look good. Touch my swag. Y'all like words and y'all like songs. Y'all sang some songs that will curse you down. Don't even know you doing it, because you calling yourself all outside your name. I done seen 5-year-olds talking about they bad bitches. I done seen 2-year-olds twerking to some music talking about popping they pussy. Y'all all think that's cute. What you just do to that child? Oh, she done ended with something. She got a nerve to end it with like that. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the songs, the things that kids say, the cuteness that comes out of their mouth. And then you wondering why your 13-year-old run around here and you can't control them. What the fuck did you teach them? Stop blaming people when they saying, this is what I believe. They really don't know what they doing. But as a queen, you're supposed to say, don't do that around me. I know plenty of people who do stuff and they don't do it around me, because I call them out quick. Get mad. Get mad. That's why I carry guns. Get mad. You can do whatever you want to. Get mad. Get angry about it. Rage about the wrong things. While you raging about the wrong things, I'm praying that you get your authority over yourself. And one day, you're going to wake up and be like, what? That realization is real. And unless you have put yourself in a position where while you in your setback, how you come out your setback, take the authority over yourself. The situation is not you. The comeback is all you. The boldness, the brashness, the changing, the moving. They gonna say you changed. When they tell you you changed, laugh at them and say, oh, thank you. Because most of the time you looking at a person to tell you you changed and you looking at them like, well, why the hell you still the same? If you don't grow together, you not meant to be together. That goes for friends too. If you can't grow with your group of friends, you ain't meant to be group of friends. Y'all was strategically put together so somebody else can grow up and they are not probably growing up. Are you a ravishing queen? If you didn't get nothing that I said today, I hope the hell you got the fact that if you do not take self-authority over yourself, if you do not take a hold of the situations, and when I say take a hold, you need to reflect. See, old people don't sit there and be quiet for no reason at all. They ain't just watching the situation. They understanding the situation. They feeling the situation out. They want to know who moving and who not. And you ain't even got to move. You ain't even got to say 2 words. You just sit there and watch. In these games of these lives, these children are learning the wrong things. They want our children to learn the wrong things. They want our children to be up there doing these certain things. They want our children to be saying negative notations over themselves. They want our children to think this is cute. They want us to fall into this line. It's easy to be manipulated, and it's hard to be the little duck outside of that group looking at everybody, shaking their head. But see, that duck gonna waddle itself away and go on to his nest and his peace. He ain't got many friends, but he got peace. He ain't got many friends, but he got money. He ain't got many friends, but he got a place where he can say, this mine. Which one are you? Which one are you? Because see, everybody learned about the ugly duckling, and we learned the wrong notation of the ugly duckling. The ugly duckling was the most kindest, beautiful thing inside to out. The ugly duckling looked different. The ugly duckling was not ugly. The ugly duckling was different. Did different things than everybody else. Moved different, talked different, walked different, waddled different, ate different. Stop being a sheep. Where is your self-authority? I hope y'all all celebrating the Savage Room with us. Happy birthday to the Savage Room. And happy birthday to myself. And today, we went through Ravishing Queen. The setback. It's not about the comeback. It's about the setback. And if you ain't learned nothing in this whole video, I hope you learn that take back your self-authority over yourself. It's the Baby Whisper. And I'm still one half of the movement. And I hope you all enjoyed this teaching of Ravishing Queen. And yes, I told y'all about yourselves. It's my birthday. I'm allowed to. Y'all know what to do. And don't forget to go on to our new YouTube channel, where it's going to be all Savage Room all day long. And don't forget to meet us in the Patreon. Y'all know what to do. If you whisper, I will hear you. Shh.
Mama, are you proud? Could you see me now? I climbed the highest mountain, white sweat from my brow. Dreams I had in whispers, now they're shouts in the air. I learned to fly with broken wings, didn't need a prayer. Mama, are you proud? Can you see my stride? I took the world head on with you by my side. Every step was heavy, but I danced it through. Mama, are you proud? This one's for you. I wore my heart wide open, didn't need a shield. In the streets of fire, I became the battlefield. I sang my song without a fear in my soul. Made my own rules, played the leading role. Ooh. Mama, are you proud? Can you see my stride? I took the world head on with you by my side. Every step was heavy, but I danced it through. Mama, are you proud? This one's for you. Mama, hear the echo of the life I made. Every note.
This driving straight to the hole, I don't need no assist. If all I got is one shot, you know I ain't gon' miss. I never take a hater serious, I'm petty with this. Never been the type to fall, I don't straddle the fence. And yeah, I might lose it all, I get it right back quick. I'm like a walking casino, cause I'ma take that risk. I ain't scared of nothing but the old version of me. I'm fired up, boy, I love the cold version of me. I love the way I took the pain and now it's working for me.